What made this so special for both of you? We'll start with Danielle.
Well, I'm a huge Broadway musical
Yeah.
fan with zero talent, zero ability, but have always been moved. Rent did it for me. I'm one of those television writers where Rent was the one. It spoke to me, and I never looked back. So to be able to collaborate with this team, Stephen, Tommy, Bobby, Kristen, it really was a dream. I never thought my career would take me into any sort of Broadway musical space. And so for me, I have to say, just being so close to the genius that is the four of them, and learning what it takes to kind of motivate a song. It's a gift. I will be forever grateful for this experience because of it. So for me, that's what made the show so special from a personal standpoint.
For me, it's like any other musical in that, like, the most exciting and the most really almost miraculous thing is when you hear a new song for the first time, which we got to hear. I guess I'm trying to count, like, there were probably 20 altogether, including cut songs, and getting to especially hear songs from Bobby and Kristen, who are obviously some of the best songwriters out there. Like, to get to just, these songs were coming in all the time, and the experience of creating characters on the page, bringing them to life, but then suddenly Bobby and Kristen would bring in this whole other dimension of the character that obviously we can't access as script writers, but then you see it and you're like, oh, of course that's how Miguel sounds in song, or of course that's how Lindsay sounds, and it's just, there's something, it's unlike anything else getting to hear those songs.
Yeah. What I love about this is the perfect melding of Broadway musical comedy with television comedy put together. I think it's just brilliant. Danielle, would you like to write a Broadway musical?
I mean, that is such a that is so funny you're asking me, because like instantly I want to say yes, and then I'm like, could you, am I, but the
Of
true
course.
answer, if I'm answering like from my heart, is yes. I would love to write a Broadway musical because like I said, just being such a fan of the genre, and always being moved by live theater. It could be bad live theater, it could be good live theater. I'm just always moved by what it takes, and that people are being willing to stand on a stage and do that. And so I mean, the true answer is yes. I would love to, but of course, immediately my head characters, my inner voice says, "Can you? Yeah, this isn't your space to do that." But absolutely, 100%.
I would love to see that.
Oh, I can imagine you two writing a musical together now. Talk about collaborating, Stephen. Talk about collaborating with Danielle.
But collaborating with Danielle for the first 18 months of our collaboration, we never met at all.
COVID,
We
COVID,
started
Zoom.
working together in August 2020, I want to say.
Yeah,
On
maybe
Zoom.
earlier. Yeah,
Yeah, maybe July.
yeah.
We met on Zoom, and then we proceeded to spend every day together for 6 to 8 hours a day. And it was really delightful because we really, we kind of started off, I think, thinking that we knew, or I certainly thought I knew what we had. And then as we went, it was sort of like, oh, we're going to have to invent something a little bit brand new here. Trying to figure out not only how to do a musical on television that really feels like a musical and not just a show with songs, but also how to do a show where characters have voices inside their heads that other people can't see, where the conflict is often motivated by internal dramas rather than external. There were all sorts of fun and exciting and terrifying challenges. And so it really, it took a lot longer than I think most TV shows take to
Oh,
develop.
absolutely.
Because,
Absolutely. And it was a
yeah,
lot of Tommy Kail, who was kind of our captain, like talking Stephen and I down and being like, this is hard, you guys. Don't worry that it's taking, of course it's taking this long. You're trying to take internal conflict and make it the external story. So I really appreciate collaborating with Tommy on that, because so many
yeah.
times Stephen and I would be in just an absolute like undoing of like, but then how do we hold on to it? What's tangible about this? Obviously always guided by Bobby and Kristen's original idea, which we were so inspired by and totally, wanted to make it work. But there were so many days where we were just like, I don't know how it works. And Tommy would be like, you guys, it's all right. It's okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Chill. So
And we kind of learned that we always knew we were on the right track when Bobby and Kristen would write music. Basically, we would talk forever and ever and ever, and Bobby and Kristen would talk with us, and they might try to write something. It would be really hard, but then we would have a conversation, and they'd come back 12 hours later with a song. And that's when we knew, okay, we've got something. We're all speaking the same language. We're giving them enough material that they can actually expand and make it bigger and realer. So that was when it started really moving.
And if and conversely, if they were having a hard time, we always went back to ourselves and said, there's something wrong. We didn't launch it right. There's something wrong. Not to say that everything they do is perfect, but everything they do is perfect. And so it's like, it was like when something didn't work, we were like, okay, we have to look at ourselves. We have to look at the story. We have to look at the character. How come it's just not, which is amazing. I've never worked with songwriters before, but I know they are, the top of the top. And it's like, okay, they can just create these songs. If they can't do it right now, something in the storytelling moment is wrong. And that was almost always the case. I mean, really, like truly. So amazing to see them work.
Did we wake up at the same?
I've been up since 4. I've been thinking a lot about this. New York is where real writers live, and I am starting to think that I am a real writer.
Why didn't you tell me?
Do not say it. Careful now.
Keep it to yourself, Linz. I just have all these voices in my head all the time.
Now you've done it.
Nice pants.
Thanks. They're new. I mean, they're not new. I wear them a lot.
Sounds like they have a very rich history. I know exactly what you're gonna say. I wasn't gonna say anything.
Just enjoying the view. You don't need her. Mama's here.
Okay, that's creepy.
It's great to really get someone to know front, back, and inside out.
That's when you can really trust someone to understand what you are all about.
I came here to focus on myself. This could be a life-changing opportunity.
You have no reason to believe that.
What about this reason? It's funny, the devil's actually a very misunderstood card.
Did you always want to be a writer?
I think I always knew I had something to say, but just afraid no one wanted to hear it.
She doesn't like you. She just thinks you're rich.
Hey, don't listen to her. You're doing great, buddy.
What are you thinking about?
Nothing.
I've listened to so many different people telling me who I should be.
What are you doing? It's different with Lindsay because she's special. That is actually very sweet.
It's time to give up and come home.
I belong in the city.
You've been hit by 3 cabs.
At very low speeds.
All those voices floating in her head, saying no in a million different ways. They don't see what I do.
She doesn't appreciate you. She doesn't deserve you.
This isn't your life. This is my life.
I am sick and tired of everyone telling me what I'm supposed to do.
I need to find my own story. You're gonna be okay?
I can handle it.